Penobscot Theatre Company in Bangor is now presenting a world premiere musical comedy that has deep roots in Maine. The show is called Trapped. It's about the changes that threaten the way of life on an island off the coast of Maine, which relies on fishing and tourism and lobstering. Lawrence Fingerhut, who lives in Maine, composed the music, and actor Ira Kramer plays the lead role. We talked with them at the theater and started the conversation by asking Lawrence, who had the idea for the show, why he thought all those classic Down East elements could be pulled together to create an entertaining musical.
You can never be sure until you do it, but I really thought that there's a room for such a rich culture and rich characters. There hadn't been any kind of musical that I'd known that honored the lobstering community, so that's my wish.
When the musical started to come together, when you started composing music and your partner in this production started working on the book and the lyrics, did you guys, when you got to maybe the halfway point, did you start to say to yourselves, yeah, this is really coming along, we think we got something here, or was it kind of a slog? Did you really have to battle it?
No, I think we had a lot of optimism from the beginning. When I presented the idea to my collaborator, Andy Enninger, we really were confident from the beginning. Of course, there were moments when we thought, maybe that's not the right choice, and we went through 9 different versions that before we reached the version we're using now.
9 different versions. People might hear that and say, wow, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of misfires. But that's the way it goes in the theater, right? That's absolutely perfectly normal.
Absolutely. And we're lucky, even now when you think of, like in the past Broadway shows, they run for several 6-week runs in regional theaters, and then they're completely retooled by the time they get to Broadway to make sure that everything is working the way it should. We didn't have that luxury yet, although maybe we'll go on to Broadway after this, and this will be but that.
Look at that, right into my trap. Guess I can't resist that perfume I'm wearing.
You smell like herring.
Herring crab, master of lobstering.
It's not an opportunity that comes along every day for an actor to get to do a new musical that has never been seen before. What's that like for you?
I think that there is, it's exciting, very exciting. I think there's a sense of duty to treat the work with respect, like you would
want to mess it up.
Like you, yeah, of course, and like you would with when you approach any piece of text or any piece of theater. I think you want to approach it with that, but I think that's even amped up even further when you have the writer and the composer in the room. But then I think there's also a sense of honor, knowing that I'm the first person who's getting to play this role, and in whatever small way I get to kind of put my fingerprint on that piece is, I feel honored and responsible for doing the best of my ability to do that.
As we all know, one of the things that drives people in Maine crazy is when they see a movie that's set in Maine and the accents, the Maine accents, are bogus and hokey and off. A little pressure on you guys there to make sure you got it so that it sounded authentic.
Well, I kind of dialed really into just how I speak. This is really more of an interest, and there's a couple little iterations that come out. I think I have a Showa and a Ayat in there. But Seth, Ben Lehman, who plays Seth, actually grew up in one of these smaller coastal towns, and he leans in a little bit harder. And you know, if you want to be authentic, it's about as authentic as it gets.
You lived on the Down East Coast for quite a while, many years. If you hadn't, do you think you still would have been able to write this work?
I think it was important, and it certainly led to some inspiration when I worked in Bar Harbor for many years, and I saw the changes that were happening in Bar Harbor, because a big theme of this musical is about how development and commercialism can affect a small island community, and I saw that happening in Bar Harbor.
You're from Canada, Ira. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Which are better? Maine lobsters or Canadian lobsters?
You know, last time I checked, lobsters don't have passports. So as a Canadian, can I plead the fifth? Is that a thing?
we're going to let you just this once, but don't abuse the privilege, mister. Yep, he's a diplomat as well as an actor. You can see the musical Trapped at Penobscot Theatre Company in Bangor through March 5th. More information about the tickets, showtimes, everything else in the 207 section of our News Center Maine app or website.